little wrestling.
I unfortunately did not get a chance to watch Money in the Bank. I wanted to, but just with things going on, I didn't get to it yet. I probably will watch some of the key matches, but go ahead and lead on this. I'd like to. I heard it was a good Raw. What I did hear, I just want to say this. This excites me, very much. Is I am so ready for Wyatt Jericho.
Oh yeah. So thanks for spoiling that. So basically,
it's not a spoiler. It's fucking Wednesday night. This happened on Monday.
Spoilers, damn it. So basically, the WWE is in a bit of a transition right now ever since WrestleMania, where they're starting to push a lot of the younger talent. Thankfully, the Wyatt family, the Shield is there. Daniel Bryan, we'll talk about, really starting to push the guys that deserve to be pushed, and they're younger and they're hungry and they want to just go for that opportunity. So they broke up the Shield, which was, I thought, a little premature, but not a bad move. And they did the proper... We spoke about why Seth Rollins was a proper choice. And right now, it's coming to fruition with that. So Money in the Bank pay-per-view, since Daniel Bryan, non-kayfabe, is injured, a neck injury, unfortunately, could be career-threatening, it turns out. At the pay-per-view, they had two Money in the Bank ladder matches. One for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which was won by John Cena, and one... just for the #1 contender with the case, basically, you can cash in whenever you want.
Yeah.
And it's happened, with the exception of two people. John Cena 1 year cashed in and did not win because he actually set up the match beforehand. And then Damien Sandow, who won it, and then for some reason, all of a sudden, everyone decided this guy's a piece of shit. Right now, he's just a comic character in the company. He lost his to John Cena, actually, ironically. So Seth Rollins won the Money in the Bank contract. Out of a field of really good wrestlers. You had guys that you knew were not going to win it, like Kofi Kingston. Kingston's one of those mid-carders that really entertaining, really good wrestler.
Yeah, he's just never going anywhere.
He might get like the U.S. title, but he's never going to be a world champion. You know that. Guys like like Jack Swagger, it's the same sort of deal. Even though they're good for what they are, but they're not great. Dolph Ziggler
shit. Jack Swagger.
You don't like Jack Swagger?
Why does he keep getting pushed? Why does he keep getting brought back? He has
talent. He does have talent. He's very talented.
No, he's mediocre at best.
No,
he got a
mediocre.
DWI this year, and he's effectively he's not very good.
Oh, he had a drink. He drove he had a Tecate, and he drove home.
If he drove home after a Tecate, he would have tested 0-0 on the alcohol scale because this is piss water.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's piss water that I drink, but it's piss water.
But anyway, so Seth Rollins wins it. Seth Rollins has only been wrestling on Raw and for WWE for like a year and a half. They came in around Survivor Series in 2012. So
I can't believe they put the title back on Cena.
Well, we'll talk about that. Their options are pretty freaking limited.
Yeah, I know. The roster is getting thinned out, and not for usual reasons, for unfortunately sad reasons.
I mean, so Daniel Bryan comes on the pay-per-view. Daniel Bryan had a neck surgery. He was expected to be out originally only like 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
So at first they're like, okay, we'll leave him off one pay-per-view, keep him the champ. But afterwards they're like, wow, this is more serious than we thought. So they had to take the title off him because you can't have you need a champion for your company. You can't have a guy be out for 6 months. So Daniel Bryan actually came to the pay-per-view and said, hey, I don't have strength in one of my arms. I might need another surgery. He basically said, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously he's optimistic. He wants to come back, but this is what happened to guys like Arn Anderson, where they start losing feeling in their arms. Then they're done. It's too dangerous to come back.
This is what happened to so many wrestlers who've wrestled through injuries they shouldn't have. Macho Man never should have come back after his spinal and neck problems.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, like, none of these wrestlers should have come back. I mean, I hate to say it, but wrestling takes a lot of people young. Part of it is drugs and abuse, but another part is
wear and tear.
It's wear and tear because they work through shit they shouldn't work through. So I hate to say it, I'd rather see Daniel Bryan hang it up young than be dead at 55.
Yeah. So again, you needed a new champion, and I am not upset with them making John Cena the champion because who are you going to hotshot the title to? No one's ready to take that title. Cesaro's not at that level yet. He's getting there, but they couldn't give Cesaro the title at this stage. And plus, there's someone lurking that's going to come back and probably fight for it. Brock Lesnar is going to probably come back some point this year, whether it's SummerSlam. I think the original plan was to have a Brock Lesnar Daniel Bryan match sometime this year. That would have been huge.
Yeah.
It would have been gigantic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just unfortunate that Daniel Bryan, He wrestles for what it's been, at least a dozen years he's been wrestling. He's been wrestling since he's like 19 or whatever.
I remember watching him in like 2001 or 2002.
Yeah, so, and he has this go-all-out style, which is what made him the most popular wrestler on the planet. Go-all-out. I mean, geez, he yelled at Triple H, supposedly, because he had a stinger in a match. This was last year, when he was still tag team champion. And they stopped the match. On Raw, they stopped the match because they knew something was wrong. Bryan was pissed. Like, on camera, he was like trying to fight the guys off. This is for real. And so supposedly backstage, he yelled at Triple H like, "How dare you tell me when I can continue? Now, I've wrestled in Japan, I've wrestled all over. How dare you?" And I guess he got Triple H respect by doing it, by saying, that's the guy he is. He goes all out in all his matches. He doesn't let up. So guys like CM Punk, that they go all out, Daniel Bryan, they get burnt out mentally and then physically. Their bodies they're only in their early to mid 30s, but it's the wear and tear. It's like a basketball player. A basketball player like LeBron James play when they're like 19. By the time they're 32, it's the mileage. They're just done. Sometimes they're just done. Sometimes they just can't go anymore.
Well, back and forth up a court is going to do havoc on your knees.
It's just the mileage, though.
Yeah. Anyway,
it doesn't matter your age.
Yeah.
It's just if you do it something like that for 15 years, there's only so much your body can take. So what happens is John Cena is the champion now. I don't have a huge problem with it. I really don't. He's going to be a champion until they can build someone else up. He's transitional, but not hot-shotting it to someone just for the sake of doing it, as if they do it. If they did it to someone like Bray Wyatt, it would be way too soon, and it's just not ready for it yet. They have to build someone to that.
No, that's fair. I mean, I guess I can't think of off the top of my head, I guess.
There's no one else. The roster's depleted.
Yeah.
It really is depleted. You have these young guys like Roman Reigns, but they're not ready yet. They're just not. It's just too soon.
Well, yes. Yeah, exactly. And it would just seem... I guess at least with Cena as a guy who's had, 15 now world.
This is 15. Yeah.
At least it makes sense. If you threw it to someone like Roman Reigns or whatever, that doesn't make any sense.
No, and Reigns isn't ready. Reigns is Reigns
is a boring ass wrestler.
He has a good setup and finisher, but he has no good mid match moves.
No, I'm done with people finishing with the spear. Okay, it's the most boring fucking move in the world.
Superman punch. Come on.
I do like the Superman punch.
I'm surprised no one used that before.
It's a pretty good punch.
It's a punch that never lands in mixed martial arts ever, which is why it's funny.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny punch, but he's not a good wrestler.
He's a semi-big guy that has a good look, has a good charisma. I love the fact that Dean Ambrose, which I knew would be huge.
Yeah.
Looking at his stuff back in, it was like FCW when it was Florida.
Yeah.
Championship Wrestling before it was NXT. One of the best guys in the mic that have probably come along in probably 15 years.
No, he's awesome. Did he have a match on Sunday?
Yeah, they threw him in I think the ladder in the Money in the Bank. They threw him in there because the storyline now is that he's just after Seth Rollins' head for turning.
That'll be fun.
So he's in the match, and Kane comes down and helps Seth Rollins win it when Dean Ambrose was going to win it. He was getting close to winning it. So now it's the hottest stories now, believe it or not, in the WWE is Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. People going nuts for that. Absolutely nuts. When you think about it, these are two guys, again, who weren't even wrestling for the WWE 2 years ago. And then Roman Reigns even just staring down Triple H on Raw, even teasing a potential future match, which would be great to build up Roman Reigns. And that's where Triple H is in his career now. He's obviously a lot older. He's 45. His body's not what it was. He can't juice up anymore like he could 12 years ago. He can't. He was juiced up 12 years ago. Yeah. It was obvious. And so he's a guy that just builds up other guys.
He can't put the needle of oil in his ass anymore.
But Raw was good because it actually showed the desperation. Jericho came back to a huge pop.
See, that makes me happy. I'm glad to see Jericho is back.
Jericho's a good wrestler. He's a professional. He's great on the mic. He always puts on a good match. He's safe in the ring.
He's like the industry gold standard of good wrestler.
Yeah.
Is basically what Chris Jericho is.
Yeah.
Good personality, good as a heel, good as a face, good in the ring.
Never really injured, for the most part.
No, for the most part, he hasn't
pretty
really.
Good.
Yeah,
he's wrestled for 20 years.
Yeah, I've seen matches with him, in Japan from '94.
Yeah, the J Cups.
Yeah, like how old are you, dude? Fucking 15.
Yeah, he must be 42 by now, 41. But no, he came back to a huge pop after The Miz came back to absolutely apathy.
I don't even know who The Miz is. The Miz was before...
The Miz headlined, as I'll tell you, The Miz headlined WrestleMania a few years ago and beat John Cena when The Rock interfered.
Believe me, I know that. I'm just saying, he left, he was demoted, thrown out, put on hold before I started watching again, and now he's just come back. And my buddy Jay always is just
He's-
like, The Miz is awful.
He's better than average, but he's not. He's one of those guys that, wow, that's how bad wrestling was when he was like headlining all these pay-per-views a few years ago.
My same friend said he's like Miz, Kingston, Ziggler. He's like all of these guys. He's like, this was your headline.
But Ziggler's good though, and Kingston's they're good wrestlers. They are.
I think Ziggler's okay, but Ziggler's never gonna make it anywhere beyond where he is now.
I think if they gave him, first of all, he has an awful name. They gave him this awful name. They gave him this porn star name off of Dirk Diggler, and they basically, if he went to like say like TNA or somewhere else and changed his name, he probably would do a lot better.
Except for the fact that no one does well in TNA because it's TNA.
Well, but I mean, when you look at the guy, he reminds you so much of Mr. Perfect. How he wrestles, how he sells moves, how fluid he is.
Does, and I like I've got.
And Mr. Perfect should have been a champion. He could have been a world champion. He should have been.
No, Macho Man should have been fucking world champion.
But Perfect was actually lined up for it.
Well, Macho Man was, but he should have beaten Hogan. Anyways, whatever.
Well, Macho was world champion. What are you talking about? Macho was champion.
I'm saying he should have beat
times.
Hogan clean for world champion.
Clean.
I'm still upset about that.
Macho.
I'm gonna go to necromancy school, bring Macho Man back from the grave, and force Hogan to fight him. Just randomly.
Just how like Hart never fought Hogan. Hogan dodged Bret Hart to fight him for real.
God, Hogan is such a piece of shit.
He put over Warrior at least. But anyway, Raw was big.
Right, at least. Oh yeah, the one with the least talent is the one he puts over.
No, he was huge though, Warrior. That was the right thing to do. Anyway. So AJ Lee came back, which was very, very nice to see. After I guess her honeymoon with CM Punk, who she's now married to, in real life, in non-kayfabe. She came back, won the title back from Paige, who's a pretty good wrestler. The women's division is actually not in a bad place right now.
No, it's not.
Paige is good. Cameron's really good.
Actually, everyone in NXT is pretty good. We actually had a question about that.
Alicia Fox is pretty good. She's come into her own.
Even some of the lower card ones, like Bayley and Emma on NXT, are good wrestlers. Like, pretty much everyone who wrestles in the women's division, and that's where it's all starting. That's that's the fire right there, is NXT. They are really putting together a good women's division that is very fun to watch with a lot of good wrestling.